and welcome to Inside the Admissions Office, the official podcast of InGenius Prep and your go-to resource for expert admissions strategy. My name is Jaein, and I'm excited to be your guide through this wild ride of college admissions. Each episode, I'll bring you insights from former admissions officers who know the ins and outs of getting into your dream school and their firsthand experiences reviewing applications. Our strategies have helped countless students gain acceptance to top universities, and we're here to help your students gain that competitive edge and do the same. Whether you are just starting your college prep journey or knee-deep in applications, we've got you covered. So grab your notebooks, pencils, and maybe a cup of coffee. Let's dive in. Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for another exciting episode. Today we're talking about something that's been gaining a lot of traction with high school students lately, taking a gap year before college. Have you ever considered that? Now I get it, pressure pause before heading to college might sound very risky, but here's the thing, it could actually boost your college application in ways you did not expect. To help us break it all down, we're kicking things off with former admissions officer from Dartmouth, Heather. She has been on a few of our episodes on the podcast already, so you might be familiar with her. If not, we'll be getting to know her just a little bit in the episode. She'll be sharing how a well-planned gap year can make you stand out in the admissions process, showcasing your growth, maturity, and initiative, all things that top schools love to see. Then we're sitting down with Jaein, the Director of Global Higher Ed Relationships at Baret Scholars. Baret Scholars offer students the chance to immerse themselves in new cultures, work with mentors, and also lead meaningful projects in real-world settings. So, if you've ever thought about taking a year to step back, explore, and grow, this episode is for you. Let's dive in and explore how a gap year, especially one with Baret Scholars, can be a game changer for your future. Let's get started. Hi, Heather. Welcome back to another episode. It seems like you are our favorite recurring guest, but always happy to have you on the show. Before we start, to those of our new listeners, could you maybe briefly walk us through your background a little bit?
Sure. My name is Heather McCutcheon, and I've been working with InGenius since 2016, but I've been working in admissions since the 1990s. I'm also a published playwright and author, novelist. I'm a parent. I have 3 children, mostly grown. My youngest is a junior in college now. So my husband and I are very proud of the kids and live in New England with our dog and enjoying our first grandchild.
Heather, I'm so excited to have you back on a new episode. I believe this is our second episode together. It's been a while, but from your experience as an admissions officer, did you notice any distinct character traits or qualities that stood out in students who took a gap year compared to those who went straight to college? Were they more independent, creative, or perhaps better leaders?
I'm a big fan of these opportunities. There's lots of different ways to take a gap year. There's no one way, but I will say that my experience with college admissions is that they are very supportive of gap years, that kids who come back from a gap year are just universally more mature, more organized in their thoughts about what they want to do with their lives, what they want to study, what their career path might be. They tend to be more considerate, just more grown up. They just have matured in this way that makes them stronger, more valuable members of the college community. So in every college setting that I've been a part of, the colleges have been really enthusiastic about gap years, happy to have students that they've already admitted register for a gap year. In those situations, the colleges just ask for a very brief summary in anticipation. What do you plan to do for your gap year? And afterwards, tell us what you completed, what you did during your gap year. One student that I worked with for his gap year, he went and got his paramedic certificate. That was his accomplishment for his gap year and has interest in becoming a doctor. One of my nephews went and worked on trails in Colorado and did a lot of hiking and a lot of trail work. I think also got some kind of paramedic certification and I think a lot of physical work. Those kids put together their own ideas of what they wanted to do. They researched specific opportunities that they could fill parts of a year with. And then another young woman I worked with went through a company who had a program like our partner organization, where her family purchased a 9-month package where she went and had just an incredible adventure with travel and education and different learning experiences. And I think in all of these situations, the results were overwhelmingly positive. And all of those kids went on to college in just a better frame of mind, more rested. We worked these kids really hard in high school. We pushed them so hard to achieve, to challenge themselves, to do so many things at the same time at the highest possible levels, that these top kids are often really fried by the time they get to college. So this is part of why I love the idea of allowing them to have a pause before starting the next kind of 4 intense years of education, giving them a chance to breathe and explore more freely.
In our last episode as well, we touched about how allowing your kids to follow their educational paths led to some amazing leadership and personal development. Could you share what each of your children did during their gap years? How did those experiences shape them personally and academically?
Yeah, I think that it's maturity. When the kids are 18, 19 years old, a year is an enormous amount of time. And they've seen a little bit more of the world. They've interacted with a wider range of ages when they go on these gap years, because a lot of times they've done homestays. Like I've said, they've lived in different settings. They've had different kinds of responsibilities and internships. They've been a little more independent. And I think all of those things contribute to just a more mature perspective. They're more independent. They're more prepared for all of the responsibilities of being an independent college student. So of the students that I've worked with who've done gap years, I would say came back very prepared to take advantage of her college's consortium. So she was attending Bryn Mawr, which is part of a college consortium with Swarthmore and Haverford. And a lot of students go to colleges that are part of consortiums that have relationships with other colleges, and they don't really take the initiative to take advantage of that. And this student came back and said, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of that. It exists. I'm not afraid to take the bus, to figure out the schedules, to arrange. Like, I can do that. From the very beginning, she took that initiative and was mature enough to just figure out her schedule and really got so much more out of the opportunities available to her. And I think I really do attribute that to her experience with the gap year of just being independent and making her own decisions and doing things on her own. She wasn't the scared first-year college student who had to do everything in a group with her roommates. She was ready to make decisions and do things on her own. And then another example would be my nephew, who had the gap year and worked on the trails. And when he started college, he immediately started leadership training with the Cabins and Trails organizations in college and became a big leader in those organizations. I think that his confidence that he had built up from his experiences during the gap year as a first-year student, he knew that he had the skills of a more advanced student, that he had spent so much time and developed so many qualifications that he was able to step up as a leader from the very beginning of college. So I think that it accelerated his standing, his confidence, and he's one of the most mature people I know. He really has this very calm confidence about him that's really lovely. I think that's just something I have observed in these kids. They're willing to go their own way and do their own thing in a way that's really great to see.
You've guided your children through transformative educational journeys, and you've seen how gap years can impact students. But I'm curious, did you ever have the opportunity to take a gap year yourself when you were younger? If so, how did it influence you? And if not, did you think it would have been valuable for you in hindsight?
It wasn't really a thing when I was in college. It wasn't something that anyone ever told me was possible. I think if I had known that was a possibility, I would have advocated pretty hard for the opportunity because it just sounds like such a great idea. But I remember very clearly on my way to college reading the handbook for students from cover to learn all of the opportunities that were possible. And it certainly wasn't in the handbook because I would have tracked it down and pursued it. This is just one of those things that it's not for every single student, but if it sounds right for you or for your student, I strongly recommend that you look into it further.
Heather, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Up next, we're joined by Jaein, the Director of Global Higher Ed Relationships at Baret Scholars. Jaein will take us through the details of the Baret Scholars Gap Year program and explain how it helps students build crucial leadership skills that set them apart during the college admissions process. Hi, Jaein. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jillian?
I'm doing well, thank you. Jaein, we're so excited to have you here today. Let's start by getting to know you a little bit better. Can you share a bit about your background and how you got involved with Baret Scholars?
Yeah, sure. It's nice to meet you. And my name is Jaein, and I am a founding team member and the current global head of higher ed relations at Baret Scholars. And Baret Scholars is a year-long gap year program that's designed to provide students with immersive, hands-on learning experiences around the world. And a little bit of background on me is that I grew up in South Korea and California and came to the East Coast for college. And I went to Harvard for undergrad, where I was very involved with the Harvard Crimson newspaper and student government. And I've always been really interested in education to develop students into future leaders of the world. So prior to joining Baret, I started my career as a management consultant and then transitioned into the corporate world and have worked at Google and Verizon for a few years doing strategic partnerships and business development. Again, I've always been very drawn to initiatives that encourage exploration, cultural understanding, and personal growth. So when I first heard about Baret Scholars, when it was still an idea and a vision by our founder, Chris Whittle, I immediately fell in love with the concept and wanted to be involved with this program. So that's how I came to get involved with Baret Scholars.
Amazing. So Baret Scholars really focuses on exploration and personal growth. Have you had a transformative experience like that yourself? And how does that shape the way you guide students through their own journeys?
Yeah, so while I have never personally taken a formal gap year myself, I was fortunate to be able to travel and see different parts of the world as a kid, which really shaped my worldview early on. And I think these experiences, whether it's exploring a new city or interacting with people from different cultures and stepping outside of your comfort zone, really taught me a lot about independence, curiosity, and adaptability. These travel experiences give me a taste of what it means to learn outside of a traditional classroom setting, which is very similar to what we aim to offer students at Baret Scholars. So really exposing them to different ways of life broadens their perspective and how important it is to appreciate the diversity of people and places in the world. So now at Baret Scholars, working with students in the program, I hope to bring that perspective of valuing exploration as part of personal growth. I understand the power of seeing the world through new eyes. So we definitely encourage students to embrace the unknown and take full advantage of the opportunities that they have. So I think the gap year is really definitely spark students' self-discovery and create lifelong memories. At Baret, we work with students to make sure that they get that same sense of adventure and personal growth through their time with Baret Scholars.
Baret Scholars Gap Year program is an absolutely unique program. I've not heard of any program like this before. So for anybody who might not be familiar with it, can you tell us more about what makes it stand out from other Gap Year programs out there?
Yeah, so Baret Scholars is the brainchild of our founders, Chris Whittle. He also founded the Avenues, the World School, and really a big force in the charter school movement, as well as Benoit Schmidt, who was the former president of Yale University. And the inspiration of Baret came from their desire to create that immersive, transformative experience for students that go beyond the traditional academic path. So the idea was to offer something different, an opportunity for young people to step out of the classroom and into the world, to explore diverse cultures, and to engage in these real world issues in a meaningful way. Again, we believe that learning doesn't just happen in a classroom, but it happens through a lived experience. So we recognize that a gap year, when designed with purpose, could provide students with a chance to broaden their horizons, gain new perspectives, and develop skills that will serve them throughout their lives in college and beyond college, etc.
I love that the program is named after Jeanne Baret, the first woman to circumnavigate the globe, an absolute legend and a trailblazer. How does her story inspire the experiences students have during their time with Baret Scholars?
Yeah, so our name of our company, Baret Scholars, is, as you mentioned, named after a woman named Jeanne Baret. And her story is really central to the spirit of the Baret Scholars program. So, as you mentioned, she was a true trailblazer, the first woman to circumnavigate the globe. And though she had to do so in disguise because she's a woman, she overcame, incredible challenges along the way. So her journey wasn't just about this physical exploration, but also about breaking boundaries and embracing curiosity and demonstrating resilience. These are the values that we also want to instill in and inspire in our students. Like Jeanne Baret, our students embark on a journey of self-discovery that involves navigating new environments, confronting challenges, and learning through hands-on experiences. We want our students to leave the program not only with a deeper understanding of the world, but also with the confidence to chart their own path, much like Jeanne Baret did. So her story is a powerful reminder that exploration is both an external and internal journey, and one that can lead to students' personal growth, allow them to embrace new opportunities, and give them the ability to make a lasting impact.
So I did a little bit of research and I see that the program has two big components in it, city stays and fellowship experiences, right? Can you walk us through how that works and why the structure was designed specifically for the students in this program?
Yeah, so in essence, Baret Scholars is an opportunity for students to live in and experience 7 different regions of the world over the course of a year. So how the year-long journey is structured is that for the first 20 days, students live in what we call the primary home-based cities. So these are New York City, Sao Paulo, Paris, Istanbul, Nairobi, Delhi, and Beijing. These stays provide a home base where students engage with local culture, participate in our signature morning program, and develop a sense of community with their peers and fellows. So the morning program is our key event or programming where students hear from local leaders, regional experts, and guest speakers who provide insights into contemporary issues, history, and cultures of the region. So think of this as like a traveling TED-style talk. And this portion is meant to ground the students and offer them a blend of structured learning as well as independent exploration. So that's what's happening for the first 20 days when the students are in each of the 7 regions around the world. And then the remaining 10 days, the students divide into a smaller group of about 10 to 12 students, and they embark on these off the beaten path adventures through different cities within the region. For example, when the students were in North America, some of the students went to the Silicon Valley, others went to Los Angeles, and a few others went to Mexico City. These fellowships are with the students' individual interest and passion, and it gives gives them the opportunity to immerse in a specific cause or work with local organizations and gain that real world experience. And the fellowships are designed to push students out of their comfort zones and kind of challenge them to what they have learned in meaningful ways by diving deeper into a particular region or issue. And we hope that the students will gain skills and perspectives that only come from working directly on the ground. The reason that we have these structure, the combination of home-based cities and the fellowship, is very intentional. So one is to, again, provide that balance and allow students to reflect and learn and explore at their own pace. We also want to give them both depth and breadth. So the home-based city stays provide breadth in that it exposes students to a wide array of experiences and perspectives, whereas the fellowships offer depth and allows them to dive deeper into a single issue or a region. And I think the last thing I would like to point out is that personal growth is fundamental to our structure. It really mirrors that real world balance between stability and stepping out into the unknown. So students grow through both independent exploration and guided learning to help them build confidence, build adaptability, and hopefully a clearer sense of direction for their future as well.
I'm sure you've seen some incredible student transformations. Can you share a standout story of a Baret Scholar alum? Where are they now, and how did their gap year shape their path?
So this is our inaugural year. We have our first cohort of a little over 100 students going on this journey right now. So since it is our inaugural year, we are incredibly excited to follow the journeys of our first cohort and see where the Baret Scholars experience will take them in the future. And while the program is still ongoing, we can definitely speak to the type of impact that we are already having and we envision our students will be having going forward. The program is really designed to equip students with a unique blend of real-world skills, cultural fluency, and personal growth that will shape their futures, not just in college, but beyond college as well, whether that's in their academic pursuits, careers, or personal lives.
I was looking through the Baret Scholars website, and I see that students are able to spend about a month in each of the 7 regions they visit. What does a typical day or week look like in one of those places?
Yeah, so a typical day of a Baret Scholars is very different while they're in the home-based city versus on their fellowship. So for example, while they were in New York City, from Monday through Thursday, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is when they attend the morning program. And that's the only required programming of the Baret experience. So that's when students gather together and listen to influential speakers and interesting people from all scopes of life, whether it's fashion, healthcare, economics, or entrepreneurship. And again, think of this as an hour-long TED-style talk where they really dive deeper into regional issues, etc. So that's what they do from Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then they'll all get lunch together, and in the afternoon, evening, and the weekends, they're on their own in the spirit of gap year to design and curate their own experiences based on their passions and interests. So while they were in New York City, I know some of the students went to museums, like exploring Museum of Modern Art, Metropolitan Museum. Some went to art gallery opening. Others went to see the New York Yankees. And I believe some of the students have the option of also organizing like a short weekend trip to Boston or Washington, D.C. as they wish. And then during the fellowship, it's a little more structured. So it will be about 10 to 12 students grouped with 1 or 2 fellows. So fellows are like the mentors or advisors that are guiding the students and serving as like a resident advisors to the students. And these are a little bit more structured. Each day they'll have certain activities, seminars, etc. that they attend.
Constantly moving between different cultures must be an absolute challenge. How do these students manage to transition while staying on track with their learning? And what kind of support do they have along the way?
Yeah, absolutely. The program is designed to really provide support to the students while keeping up with their personal goals as well. So, as I mentioned before, we have wonderful fellows. So, each student is assigned to a fellow who serve as their primary mentor and a guide throughout the Baret year. And fellows meet regularly with the students, both one-on-one and as a group, to provide advice and discuss their progress and help them set and meet their goals. And then they also rely on their peer cohort. So students obviously travel in cohort. So we want to create and foster a close-knit community of peers who share the same experiences, and we believe and hope that they'll be lifelong friends as well. We also have that structured learning with flexibility with the morning program, goal settings and check-ins, and daily and weekly reflections to ensure that the students are really optimizing their learning experiences.
You mentioned a little bit about the fellowship projects. That sounds really fascinating. Could you give us a sneak peek into one or two projects that really help students connect with the local culture?
So our fellowship programs are largely divided into different domains or subject matter. So these are creativity or innovation. We also have fellowships that focus on politics, another that focus more on like nature. So one example of a fellowship that we had in North America is Silicon Valley Entrepreneurship Fellowship. So for this particular fellowship, the students went to San Francisco and the Bay Area, which is the global hub of innovation and technology. And they got to visit some of the startups and companies. They attended Stanford and UC Berkeley. The fellowship here was really designed to give students an immersive experience in the world of entrepreneurship, learn about different venture capital firms, tech companies, local startups to help them with product development, marketing strategies, and even like pitch decks for investors. So that was like a boot camp style fellowship that we offered in Silicon Valley. And another one that's going on right now is a fellowship in Patagonia. So that's more focused on the nature aspect, the environmental conservation. So in Patagonia, the students are right now working alongside local environmental organizations and to learn about wildlife preservation, sustainable agriculture, and also just enjoying Patagonia and going hiking as well. So in order to ensure consistency throughout the program, the students are assigned into what we call a house, and each house is led by a fellow. So that's like the cohort that they stay together during their stay in the home-based cities. But the fellowships, that's when the students divide into a smaller group and they can pick and choose their domains. So while they're in North America, maybe they want to do something on entrepreneurship. And when they go to Europe, they want to focus on like nature, so they can choose that as well. And it's on a ranking system, so the students can rank among different fellowships that we offer in each of the region, and we'll try to do our best to make sure the students get either their top choice or top 3 choice of the fellowship that they pick.
I'm sure every city they visited have its own personality. Have they ever shared a surprising or unforgettable cultural experience that stood out during their travels?
Yeah, I think some of the students who did the Mexico City Fellowship while they were in North America really loved that vibrant mix of history and art and culture. The energy of Mexico City. I've only been there once, but based on what the students have told me, it's really contagious, that blend of modern and traditional coupled with warmth and hospitality of the people there. Another city that I think some of the students are in Buenos Aires, Argentina on their fellowship. It's just a very historical city with different neighborhoods, colorful streets. So that's another standout that the students have mentioned.
I know Baret Scholars collaborates with some amazing local mentors and experts. Can you tell us about a few key figures and the role they play in shaping students' experiences?
Yeah, I can speak to some of the morning program speakers that we were fortunate fortunate enough to secure for the North American portion. Some of the standouts included Robbie Myers, who's the longest serving editor-in-chief of Elle magazine, the fashion magazine. We also had the CEO of SoulCycle come speak to the students. We also had a world-renowned opera singer, James Valenti, come and do a show and tell, and he performed for our students, which was very exciting. We also had a DJ. We had someone from the United Nations, CEO of one of the largest publishing company came to chat with the students. So those are just a sample of different speakers that we had for the morning program. And our fellows are also wonderful. Like one of the fellows, Ronan, was a formal screenwriter for Netflix, and he also led our fellowship in Hollywood, Los Angeles, and really connected students from the art and creativity world. I think just the variety and the scope of people that our students get to interact with is really special.
And what about the fellows who travel with the students? How are they selected and how do they support students throughout the journey?
Yeah, the fellows are an extremely important part of the Baret Scholars experience because they act as mentors and guides and advocates for our students throughout their journey. So selecting the right individuals for this role is very intentional and a thorough process to ensure that each fellow not only has expertise in certain domain, but also the empathy and dedication to help students navigate the challenges and opportunities that come with a global gap year. So in terms of our fellow selection process, we also look for fellows that come from diverse backgrounds. So they're selected based on their subject matter expertise in fields like education, entrepreneurship, environmental conservation, etc. So many of our fellows have international experience. We also look for individuals who are passionate about mentoring young people and are aligned with the mission of Baret Scholars. So many different criteria that goes into selecting our fellows, but those are some of the keys like cultural competency, leadership skills, and diverse and inclusive backgrounds.
At InGenius Prep, we offer a program called Candidacy Building, which helps 9th to 11th graders stand out by guiding them to strategically plan their high school years, explore academic interests, improve grades, develop leadership skills, and even secure internships and mentorships. Given that cultural immersion and global citizenship are key components of the Baret Scholars Gap Year program, 2 questions. 1, how does this program contribute to students' personal growth and set them apart from peers who haven't had a gap year experience? And 2, what kind of transformation do you see in students as they navigate new cultures, meet diverse people, and adapt to unfamiliar environments?
Yeah, so to answer your question and in how the program impacts students' growth and set them apart from their peers, Baret Scholars students spend their time in diverse regions around the world, and they immerse in many different cultures, languages, and ways of life. This global exposure fosters a deep sense of empathy, curiosity, and open-mindedness. These are the traits that are highly valued in university applications and future careers. Also, another aspect, the immersive nature of the program teaches students to think on their feet and solve problems in real time and adapt to unexpected situations, whether it's handling language barriers, navigating new environments, or collaborating with local communities. So these challenges push students out of their comfort zones and help them develop flexibility, adaptiveness, and resilience. And your second question's on what kind of personal growth do we see in students as they travel and adapt to new people and cultures? So one is self-awareness and confidence. Traveling to new places and being immersed in different cultures force students to reflect on their own values and identity. As they adapt to new environments, they hopefully become more self-aware and gain a clearer understanding of their strengths and areas for growth. And the other is really that communication and interpersonal skills as well. So as they engage with local communities, participate in these different fellowships, and collaborate with their peers from all around the world, we hope that the students can sharpen their communication and interpersonal skills. These skills are critical not only for personal growth, but also for their professional success as they enter next stages of their academic or career journeys.
Let's dive a little bit deeper about what kinds of personal transformations do you see as students adapt to new environments and navigate different cultures?
As part of the Baret Scholars experience, the students engage in what we call the capstone project. So that's sort of a year-long project that they work on throughout their Baret journey to document and get like a tangible learning experience from Baret Scholars. One of the students is an aspiring filmmaker. So she will be documenting her journey throughout the year and really creating some sort of a documentary that she presents at the end of the year. And another is an avid writer. So she wants to work with local newspapers or partner with magazines to write about her experience throughout their Baret journey. They engage in these types of individual projects, but we also allow students to do a collaborative project with each other, whether it's working with a local NGO or doing something socially responsible and coming up with ideas as well.
Going back to the fellowship component of the program, it really sounds like a traveling think tank where students can really learn from each other. How do they bring their unique strengths to these collaborations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the fellowships component of the Baret Scholars program can be seen as like that traveling think tank. So each group of students bring their own diverse strengths, perspectives, and interests into the fellowship. Our inaugural cohort of about 100 students come from over 40 different countries. So they really create a dynamic environment for innovation, collaboration, and intellectual growth. And the fellowships are designed to bring together students from different backgrounds with different interests. So whether they're passionate about entrepreneurship, sustainability, technology, etc., it really brings those different perspectives and thinking into making this experience truly unique for our students.
For students thinking about joining Baret Scholars, who do you think thrives in this program? Are there specific qualities or mindsets that help them make the most out of it?
When we are assessing students' application for Baret Scholars, we look at them across different criteria. For example, do they display maturity that will allow them to travel the world over the course of a year with other students from many different backgrounds? We also look at whether they have some sort of passion, whether it's in sustainability, entrepreneurship, etc. And we also look for their genuine interest in wanting to participate in a program like Baret Scholars. Do they display curiosity, intellectual engagement, adaptability, as well as global perspective that will help to contribute to the overall community of Baret Scholars that we hope to create. We believe students who thrive in the Baret Scholars program are those who possess a unique blend of curiosity, adaptability, and a passion for personal growth. So while there isn't a one-size-fits-all profile for success, there are certain mindsets and qualities that will help students make the most of the transformative journey that Baret Scholars offer. So again, we want students with open-mindedness and curiosity. Students who can adapt to different environments, show resilience, and showing that global awareness and social responsibility, collaborative spirit, and displaying initiatives that will propel them to grow personally, academically, socially, etc. There's a strong focus on ensuring that their growth and insights gained during the program continue to shape the students' future. We hope to build a global community that after the program, students can become part of a vibrant alumni network with Baret, and we hope that the students will come back and provide their perspective, get to meet with future Baret Scholars, and continue to build that relationship. There will be career and academic mentorship, ongoing fellowships and leadership opportunities for the students as well as Baret Scholar team members. We hope to, again, maintain that long-term relationship with Baret Scholars beyond just this 1 year of the travel experience.
We're almost at the end of our chat, but anything else you'd like to mention before we go? Any exciting things coming up? And if our audience would like to learn more, where's the best place to find you or Baret Scholars?
Our program is ongoing and we can follow the student's journey on our social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, and our application for next year, 2025, is currently open. So would love to see any of the students interested in Baret Scholars to apply. And if you have any questions, you can always reach us on our website. There's contact information for all the team members. And we're always here and available and ready to chat for any students interested in Baret Scholars or just interested in global gap year experience like ours.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you would like to speak to one of our experts, you can set up a complimentary strategy call with one of our enrollment counselors by following the link in our episode description. And for more information and access to additional resources, you can register for our webinars, which is also linked in the episode description. If you have any questions or would like to request a topic for a future episode, you can email me directly at jillian.yong, that's JILIAN.YONG@ingeniusprep.com. Thank you for listening to another episode of Inside the Admissions Office, and don't forget to follow the podcast so you're notified every time a new episode is available. That is all for now, and I hope this was helpful for everybody tuning in, and we will see you in the next episode.